Her body like the Wild Wild West. What if you done wild out, yeah? Riding in the big God bless. She's all inferno. It's a hell of a...
What is up, you sacks of shit? It is another edition of the Sunday Funday podcast. I am your host, Pinkerton, joined here as we continue our preseason series. We've got Chris Carlin on tonight. This is an episode everybody has been waiting for. Chris, how's it going, man?
Not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. I'm happy. We are on the eve of draft week here, like 5 something days out from the draft, maybe 4 by the time folks are listening to this. It is right around the corner, man, and I couldn't be more excited.
Me too. I'm ready. Although I won't be there in person this time, but I'm ready.
Yeah, I didn't have that listed as a question on the agenda tonight, but what are you doing scheduling travel the same weekend that is always draft weekend?
It is not always draft weekend.
Every single year, like the last 7 years, it's been draft weekend.
It is what it is. No, I'm going to Destin, so I'll go to Destin.
Maybe it's
Enjoyable.
destiny. How's life outside of fantasy baseball?
Good. Scouting all my players on MLB The Show right now that I want, making sure we blend well together.
It's only slightly outside of fantasy baseball. It's still kind of fantasy baseball related.
Otherwise, just working a bunch, trying to buy a house this summer.
There we go. Exciting news. Mr. Carlin, jumping right in. Just as in years past, there's been a lot of conversation around your draft picks. Can you take a minute, maybe kind of walk us through your approach there and the strategy behind it?
Outside of the top, 5 people, 15, 10 all the way until 50 are the same value to me. And one injury, I'd rather have depth in the upper echelon of people than just one person and then a bunch of kind of scrubs, basically. So I'm after depth, but still quality at the same time. I don't need a super elite player to win the championship. It's kind of how I go with it, with baseball being such a long year.
Which is a little bit of a departure from last year, where I don't know if you were quite super elite, but you had the 4 right around.
I did,
10 to 13 or whatever.
Austin Riley sucked. Jose was the best one there. Trey Turner did not return that value. Yordan was not even that good either. So it was kind of I was so top heavy, and then I still somehow made the playoffs still. But kind of departing a little bit from that aspect. Now I have double the picks in the 30s.
And you're feeling better about it this year than you felt this time last year?
Absolutely. I mean, the projected wise aspect, although I don't think anybody's going to take a picture outside of Scooball, but projected in the top 30 aspect, I'm ready.
Why do you think people hate your approach to the draft pick strategy so bad?
Because it's me. Look at we'll call some people out already. I mean, look at Connor's draft picks. He's obsessed with the hundreds, and then every year it doesn't work out.
Was that you the other day in the group me that said you were looking back at previous drafts, and you said Connor and Graham were obsessed?
Connor and Graham, they both are obsessed with the hundreds.
I guess I could pick up on that more so with Connor, but I guess that's something Graham's been doing.
I did
too.
that one year when I took Ohtani 1, and then I had every first 100 to 120 pick.
So it looks a little bit different this year, clumping more so around the 30s, but a clump nonetheless, right?
Always clumping.
And I kind of get that. I understand the appeal of having your picks close together, and you look at a stretch of the draft on paper and you're like, yeah, I want to have a couple opportunities to take from that stretch. But you've taken that to an extreme like nobody else. What is stopped you?
It hasn't been on purpose in terms of I haven't purposefully traded around that, made sure I had that pick. I'm fine with separating it, but I will kind of, if I'm looking for a spot in that aspect, I'll try and back them up so I can just go back to back to back, and then don't lose out on the person or risk losing somebody that I want, because I can just rip them off.
Yeah, but you maybe expose yourself to a little bit more risk if that stretch of the draft ends up being bad for whatever reason.
Well, I mean, that is true. This year, I mean, you look at Coates last year, he kind of had somewhat similar picks, but he ended up taking people that didn't work out. But I think this year, at the top in terms of like the top 40, it's pretty deep. Outside of like the top 3, like Otani, Ellie, and Witt, which are like the upper echelon. Outside of that, I think everyone's pretty close.
Yeah, it definitely seems like the tiers get a little bit closer together after that point for sure. But it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out and
It will be.
how late the pitchers go. It seems
I would like to
that's
call stuff out about my 30s picks, but I can't give anything away since we haven't picked yet about what I'm doing.
well. Is there anybody out there that you haven't randomly texted who you're going to take to? Like just one day out of the
Multiple
blue,
people.
you're okay. There's a couple out there still.
There is. It wasn't. There's reasoning behind that, which I'll talk about after the draft.
Maybe
You gotta do that. You
a
gotta
little bit
do the backdoor aspects of getting people thinking, and then they'll look, oh, he wants him then, and then it'll push someone else down to me. It happened like 2 years ago when I've done that, where I've told them I pick, someone takes him, and then the person I really want is pushed back to me.
maybe a
Reverse
little bit of
psychology.
false flag operation, if you will.
Exactly.
Carlin, in a league full of characters, you're still one of a kind. How much of that is just your personality versus intentionally leaning into this like me versus the world mindset?
Oh, I intentionally leaned into it, the group chat. And the villain, although we're not really exactly Wild Wild West names like GroupMe, which GroupMe is still better than what we are currently using. But no, I lean right into it. It's fun.
So that's putting on a little bit of a show for the group. This isn't the true Chris Carlin that we're interacting with.
Lean into it a little bit more than usual, so not as much in like person.
Sure. Who's the real Chris Carlin?
It's a wonderful question.
Yeah, I don't know how I would answer that one either. Well, let's get 60 minutes here. Let's really peel back the layers. What makes you tick, man?
I'm trying to think about who you're reminding me of talking like this aspect, but I can't like recall that aspect. I don't know why I'm getting like Jim Rome vibes out here.
Thank you. I'm flattered by that comparison. I'll take that for sure. All right, next question for you. Kind of along a similar vein, are there any misconceptions about you that are floating around the league that you'd like to take an opportunity to address?
That Dawson controlled my team for the championship is one. That is just utter nonsense. Another one is that I don't know what I'm doing, but I do, as obviously I've already won the championship and I've made the playoffs almost every year. Outside of those two things, biggest one though that continuously goes on is everyone thinks Dawson controlled my team that year I won the championship.
That is a narrative that has just not died. That's
No,
still in the back of people's minds.
everyone talks about trades and stuff with other people. That doesn't mean he controlled my team.
Has that kind of changed your mindset these last couple of years? Or you're like, I'm absolutely not going to ask Dawson for anything because I don't want people to say he's my co-manager again?
I mean, I just ask everybody. It's not like I ask him more than anybody else.
Yeah, that's fair. We're really zooming through my questions here, but I got one new segment I want to break out for the show. I'm going to call this the hypothetical of the day. Carlin, say you were elected commissioner of this league tomorrow. What is some policy that you are going to be enacting right off the bat?
Expanding the league. I think we can get to 14 or 16
wouldn't hate that.
pretty nicely. Also, I want to switch off of average to OBP, but that won't ever happen unless I'm commissioner. But outside of those two, I think we can get to 14 or 16 pretty easily. Increase the pot, but we can get to 14 or 16 pretty quickly.
I feel like most people would be down for that. We got the conversation already around raising the buy-in. I mean, if we do raise the buy-in and we add a few more teams, then we're really cooking with fire.
I don't like the first place. I mean, I understand it aspect at regular season payout, but might do away with that if I was as well. But I understand it.
Have you ever won first place regular season? maybe a little bit of correlation there in that take, but
yeah, probably.
Like it's such a long season. I feel like baseball, more than any other sport, deserves to have some kind of payout for
It
regular
is a long
season.
year, 20-something weeks.
And then we go down to like a 3-week playoff where crapshoot, anything can happen. Who's healthiest? So I feel like
Exactly.
there's something you got to throw some bone to the team that was the best all year long. But
Exactly. Like Rafael Devers stealing a base to beat Nicky.
right, I'm with you on expansion though. I think that'd be awesome, especially we get some maybe folks in that are kind of newer, figuring it out, and it's basically like we're still 12 teams anyway.
Exactly. I'd be in on that.
I got another fun one for you, Carlin. Kind of in a similar hypothetical type vein, but this is more the draft the league type question that we always have fun doing. I want you to draft a fantasy hospital lineup using members of this league other than yourself. You have 4 roster spots to fill: doctor, nurse, janitor, and patient.
Patient would be probably Orms because he's probably doing some crazy shit out in public that would cause him to have to go. At the moment, because I don't know him, I'm going to say Doctor is Jason because it sounds like he has his life together with a family and everything. So
It's a bit of a slight to the rest of the league that we're just disqualified.
Nurse is we're going to say Nicky. He gives off those vibes.
Because he's tender and caring.
Exactly. And then janitor is Chuck. Chuck with
Why
the
is
long
that?
hair. He looked like one when he had the long hair.
I think this is going to go over well when the league
Oh,
is
it's going to
apart.
be great.
Chuck's going to get out the boxing gloves. He's gonna challenge you again, man.
It's a lot of fun.
Which that boxing match never happened. The Brock
never
pinch
did.
off never
It
happened.
never did. I still miss my rival.
You miss Brock?
Yeah.
I didn't have any Brock content prepared tonight. I don't know.
What's
You
he
were
up
gonna
to
miss
these
Brock though.
days?
Rooting on the Cats. Happy to see them get the 3 seed and a pretty good draw, I'm sure. Brock, one of the biggest Cat fans I know. I'm sure he's living his best life this March.
Not drafting a fancy baseball team.
No, he is not. He is not. Carlin, I want to go ahead and switch gears to the Sneech question of the day. The one year that we can really cite as evidence that you're a top tier manager was propelled by a favorable Otani trade more so than any kind of obscure
By
draft
you?
pick strategy. Yes, by me. But that trade fueled your championship more so
It
than any
did.
weird draft pick shenanigans. So why do you keep going back to the shenanigans year after year?
Sometimes you got to think outside the box. You can't just have a straight draft. Q's done that every year. His team sucked. He never traded. You got to go outside the box and lean into some of the people you believe in.
Okay, fair enough. I think no one would say you were not outside the box with your draft strategies these last few years.
Why is mine outside the box more than Connors or Graham's?
They're not clumped to the same extreme that you are.
No, but I have 12 top 100 picks.
Yeah,
12 top 80 too, really, if you count it.
yeah, you're definitely ahead of the 8 ball in that regard. But is missing out on those first couple rounds, will that be detrimental? We'll have to see.
I mean, shit. Someone gets hurt in the first round pick and your team is destroyed. I don't have to worry about that. Jackson Chourio is a first round. He's really fringe, like second
We'll
round.
see.
But who you traded me and Jackson Chourio is right around there anyway, and I get him at 96. So basically, I have a first rounder already.
And there's been a lot of noise made this offseason, more so closer to when it happened, about that trade, the Churio for a lot of
I
picks for
understand why,
exchange
and
that I
then
got the
everyone
first
else
rounder.
started making ridiculous trades, and that's the only one that got ripped at the beginning, probably because it was the first one.
Maybe the fan tracks kind of situation too probably didn't help with
I'd
the.
never used that app before in my life. I did research on Reddit, and they all said that one was better, and then we used it, and I was like, "Oh, the interface kind of sucks."
Well, you were sure pitching it like you had used it, and like this was the best fucking thing since sliced bread. Everybody, we got to get on.
It's all the
FanTrack.
breakdowns of every player that was nice that I really liked.
That was an interesting couple days. Quick question on that trade. If the Churio deal, if you could go back today, would you make the same trade?
Yeah, I don't even remember exactly what it was, but yes, at the time I was fine the whole days after.
Okay, no regrets. Carlin, do you have any bold predictions that you want to lay on us? Anything you think happens this year that might surprise people?
Connor repeats his last place. His one. I don't like his draft picks, if you can't tell.
A lot of anti-Connor sentiment coming out tonight.
Not on purpose. He's a great person, but his draft picks suck.
Well, I'm glad it's not personal.
What's another one probably? I mean, I think I will end the season second. Not first. Never can get first. That's why I hate it so much. I think second.
Okay.
So I think I'll end the season second.
So if you're coming down the stretch, you're in first place, you might want to throw in the towel so you can make your bold prediction come true.
At this point. Yeah, I haven't stopped there yet. So why do it now?
Make yourself grind harder.
Exactly. I'm in for the grind.
Any other bold predictions? Just those two?
I'll sweep Dawson since he's my new rival. Probably going to end up 10-0ing him week 1 just because my team will be healthy.
Now you're just saying stuff.
No, I don't really like Dawson's picks either. If you take a peek at them, he's kind of leaning into the Connor aspect, where it's like a bunch of mid to late hundreds too. I kind of gave him that when we made that big trade. But
why? I don't get why people don't just do the Nicky No-No strategy and just try and have good players. Like
his strategy of he only accepts trades where he gets at least the top pick in the draft, the thing where he gets the highest pick regardless of the trade.
Yeah. But
bold one also. Orms is the worst to trade with. I know that's been a convo. It's by far.
I did ask him about that. You're gonna have to watch the Orms podcast. I didn't ask it exactly like that, but it just seems like his trade mentality has shifted over the last couple of years. So
yeah,
you're not alone in feeling like there's been a shift there. But accountability check, Mr. Carlin. How are you going to hold yourself accountable if this year goes poorly?
If I do not make the playoffs, I'll pay the buy-in for first place next year.
Whole buy-in?
What it is this year. So I'll pay the amount of this year, because if we mess around with the numbers, we'll stick with this year's.
Yeah, that's a good stipulation, because very real possibility.
If we mess with that, we'll stick with this year's number.
Okay. If you miss the playoffs, you will pay this year's champions buy-in, but stuck at
just
whatever
this
rate
price.
you have this year.
Yeah,
gotcha.
So they'll have to pay the difference, because who knows when we're going to mess with it.
That's a good one, man. We got some more monetary on the line. There's a good mix of money and creativity this year. So I think we've got a fun mix of accountability checks coming together.
Mm-hmm.
Carlin, any final words for the league before we close out tonight?
What I'm about to do in the 30s, after this year, people are going to go after the 30s. I don't know why, but the 30s are very appealing for what's available. Somebody will lean into my pick strategy at some point when it has success this year.
There you have it. 30s are the new 20s.
30s are the new 20s, since we're all about to hit that age.
Thank you for your time tonight, Carlin. It's been another fun episode. Looking forward to this draft week coming up here, and thank you everybody for tuning in.
See you later.
Her body like the Wild Wild West. What if you done wild out, yeah? Riding in the big God bless. She's all inferno. It's a hell of a time. Burning like a candlelight. Your love is dangerous. Your love is, my love is, our love is. Burning like a candlelight. Your love is dangerous. Your love.
Are you not entertained?
Our love is.
Who's not entertained by my pain? Who ain't cash a check on my name? When my campaign turned to campaign, I burned $8 billion to take off my chains. Burn, baby, burn. Sometimes it hurts, I guess I never learned. To who would make us turn the CEO of the firm? It's not someone smoking sherm with big worm. Man, a couple wrong turns could fry you forever. It's a permanent perm. You charge it for cookie, that's bang for your buck. If you're kissing on the mouth, you ain't charging enough. You heard I was flying them out. They was trying for clout. I was dying of gout. Man, man, the world gone mad. Heard R. Kelly in the next Balenciaga ad.
Burning like a candlelight.